Another top story tonight. Long before a $5 million budget shortfall left more than 50 people jobless, newly obtained records show the Tennessee Board of Regents knew Northeast State Community College's financial survival was in question.
And tonight, for the first time, the agency in charge of oversight is admitting it could have acted sooner and stronger. That admission follows community watchdog Nate Morabito's review of hundreds of internal emails and memos.
Our investigation found TBR identified possible financial trouble in 2013 and, as part of a new policy implemented 2 years later, placed Northeast State on its watch list in the fall of 2015, then had phone conversations with the school as a result. While TBR is accepting some of the responsibility, the agency told us there's enough blame to go around.
Always been a good employee, been there on time.
11 months before employees like Jeremy Watson lost their jobs, Northeast State Community College put on quite a show as the Tennessee Board of Regents held its quarterly meeting in Blountville. That's former President Dr. Janice Gillum arriving in a helicopter, a free ride secured to help promote the college's new aviation technology program.
We are off to an impressive start here at Northeast State Community College.
While things looked good on the outside, TBR concedes behind the scenes, the agency knew the community college's reserves were disappearing, down nearly 25% from 2012 to 2014, down almost 75% by June 2016. We've also confirmed the college's composite financial index, a score of its overall financial health, showed Northeast State first reached what TBR now considers its watch level in fiscal year 2013 and only worsened in the years after, which eventually in 2015 landed the college on TBR's watch list. But Rick Locker called this email chain the real warning bell.
Once the warning bell started going off, we moved decisively and I think quickly.
On August 9th, top TBR administrators, including 2 now retired vice chancellors, received these emails from Northeast State's former president and chief financial officer. The emails warned of challenges in cash flow and asked for permission, if needed, to temporarily transfer money from a building fund. If TBR knew there was an issue in August, why did the agency wait until February to get boots on the ground over here?
Well, our colleges have a lot of authority to operate on their own.
Northeast State didn't end up transferring the money, but Locker says the college and TBR remained in communication about the issues here throughout the fall semester. At the time, the college chose to hold off on filling 13 full-time vacant positions and limit travel. In September, emails show Dr. Gillum alerted TBR that faculty members were upset with her. In November, she continued conversations about the budget challenges, and in December again forwarded faculty concerns, along with an assurance just days before Christmas she would turn in the college's plan to address the budget issues during the first week of January.
It was a process. We did step in.
By the end of January, Dr. Gillum announced, working with the TBR, the school would eliminate 5 full-time permanent positions and would reduce travel and operating costs.
We just want to make sure that we are creating a future on campus.
Days later, the Faculty Senate gave her a vote of no confidence, and TBR received an email about several years' worth of enrollment over projections. By early February, TBR officially stepped in and sent a strategic team to Northeast State, in the short term implementing 3 interim actions, including shared governance. 4 months later, 47 people,
It's not fair,
including Watson, lost their jobs.
But we certainly have an oversight role, and in hindsight, we probably could have done more earlier.
Do you feel like TBR is at fault in any way for what happened there?
There's enough blame to go around.
In a 3-page memo sent on Dr. Gillum's last day of work, the retiring president placed much of the blame on other administrators. In her detailed financial summary, she said managers, including former CFO Dr. Steve Campbell, kept her in the dark about bad financial decisions. Including $4.8 million in student debt, she said the finance office didn't budget properly, at one point saying someone was not doing their job for many years in managing this issue. She also said no one ever reported to her $2.8 million in over-expenditures in the college's technology access fee budget, and added the former budget manager wasn't transparent about a bad practice of taking money from conservative departments to bail out those who overspent, something the former budget manager has denied. Just last week, Dr. Gillum continued. in a text message to us saying the finance office let payroll get 2 years behind, which she said she didn't find out about until earlier this year when an interim CFO took over.
It seems that the only financial issues occurred after Dr. Gillum came to campus.
Faculty Senate Vice President Tricia Crawford is quick to defend the former CFO.
Ultimately, as the leader of the organization, Dr. Gillum is responsible.
While she admits Dr. Campbell holds some responsibility, she believes he spoke up with concerns.
When you're near retirement and in fear for your job, most people would understand following orders of your superior.
You wouldn't go into that financial position without administrative failures.
State Senator John Lumberg knows the responsibility that comes with being the boss.
If somebody screws up here, it is my fault.
He runs his own business. He says a pattern of bad decision making is to blame for the Northeast state situation. And he says the blame starts at the top.
And I think they realized, the TBR did, that they frankly took their eyes off the ball.
TBR policy says accountability for management of the budget rests with the chief executive officer. Dr. Gillum declined an on-camera interview but admitted to us she is responsible regardless. She said despite reviewing dashboards and asking for information constantly, the most frustrating part was, quote, to find out these things and not have been told the full situation, end quote. We left multiple messages for Dr. Campbell but did not hear back. We should mention back in September we reported about a TBR audit of the situation and found, among other things, continuous warnings of overexpansion, overspending, and questionable priorities at Northeast State went unheeded. TBR says it's since increased oversight at all community colleges and doesn't think this kind of problem will ever happen again.
All right, Nate, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Now, our local region declined an interview for this story, but in a statement, J. Parker Smith said members of the board first found out about the depth of the financial issues at Northeast State early this year. TBR policy requires the board to know when colleges are on the state's watch list.